conversations went good. This is something that, man, we're just so passionate about. It's why we do what we do. Because there is this sense within us that, man, we are not just, like, we're not just doing something where we're going to make you guys eat weird foods and throw a ball at each other's face. Like, we will do that. But, like, we come here from the position of, like, man, like, there are lost people that need to be saved. This is dangerous. This is a war zone. And, like, on some level, when I'll go to RIM and I'll just kind of sit there in the summertime or in a time where there's no students there, and it totally, for me, feels like that beach. It's just like, this is just a place full of lost people that need to be saved, and it breaks my heart.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And I think what it comes down to for a lot of us, especially those of us who might have been raised in the faith, is we hear the message so often that it starts to lose some of its impact. Yeah. And I think we start to lose the understanding that we're actually at war.
Yeah, totally.
Right? And so John Piper uses this really cool illustration of, like, getting your mindset around the fact that you are at war. So most of us think that we're just on a cruise ship.
Yep.
Right? And so when we talk to God, it's like we're talking to the butler on the cruise ship.
Yep.
Like, hey, give me a good grade on my test. Mm-hmm. Please be with my family right now. Like, I need a new towel. Like, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, you're not on a cruise ship. Yeah. You're on a battleship.
Yeah.
And so your conversations through prayer with Christ is not, hey, Lord, give me this, but hey, what are your orders? How can I get in there?
Yeah.
And so I think in order for us to truly kind of grasp that there are lost and that they do need to be saved, like, we have to realize that this is real. Yeah. And that we need to be on board with it. And it's not just some, like, oh, well, it's true for them. If this is true for me, they're probably not, like, what you're basically saying in that moment is they're not actually lost. Yeah. And they don't actually need to be saved. Totally. Really, there's not actually a beach.
Yeah, it's not actually a problem. I mean, guys, as you're watching this movie, or as before you watch this movie, you're playing video games, or you're watching some Avenger movie, or whatever you're doing, half the time we're playing the end of the world. Yeah. We're playing like post-apocalyptic. We are thinking about it. We're fantasizing. But what if it happened? I mean, like, honestly, what if this happens on American soil tomorrow? Like, some pure war, chaos, everything ensues. Like, what breaks me is that it is happening, and it's so much bigger than actually getting bombed or invaded. Yeah. It's bigger than that, because this isn't something that happens at the end of our life. This is something that happens for all of eternity. Yeah. And I just see this battle waging for souls. And listen, all reality, if you're here, there's chances that some of you guys are watching this video and you're not saved. That you're even going to watch these videos and you're going to listen to what we have to say. But in the end of the day, like, you don't have faith in Christ. Mm-hmm. And so what we're seeing here, I mean, kind of moving forward, is that, like, it's Christ alone that saves people. Yeah. But that we are called to be a part of that process.
Yes, exactly. And I think we get so stressed out about sharing our faith and evangelism because, we don't recognize that it's Christ who saves. Mm-hmm. And it's like he empowers us to go out, but we have to be obedient, right? And you need to be part of the story that's bigger than yourself, because you're not the the main character in the story. It's Christ who's the main character. Mm-hmm. It's Christ who saves. It's Christ who calls us to his mission. It's Christ who comes and rescues us off of that beach. And now that we've been rescued, we get in those boats and we come back and we continue his mission. And so when we talk about this, it's easy for us to just kind of go, well, that's what pastors are for. Yeah. That's what your youth pastor is for. That's what my small group leader is for. That's, eventually I'll do that. Mm-hmm. When I get older, when I know a little more, when I'm, when I feel ready. Well, the issue is God doesn't call you to be ready. He says, now, this is the chance. Be obedient. Yeah. And you'll figure that out along the way. Yeah. Right? And so the church is, young and old, both those who know more and those who don't know anything, getting in the boat and saying, I'm willing to sacrifice everything to go and seek and save the lost.
I love that. I mean, even just the imagery of this movie. Like, think about it this way. What we do at Church of the Woods, what we do as the outfit in youth ministry and youth group and the events and camps and all of that stuff, man, we're like the battleship We are coming, and we're going to try to cram as many people in this boat as we can, and we're going to move forward. But realistically, the saving happened in all the private boats.
Yeah.
Like, that's where it came from. Like, we can steer this massive ship forward, but without everybody going, no. Like, whether there's a boat or not, I'm bringing my own boat, and I'm doing my own thing. We're getting after this. That's the only way that people get saved.
Yeah.
And we can do this big thing, and we're still, like, guys, we're still leaving so many people on the beach.
Yeah.
No matter how full our ship is on a Wednesday night, no matter how full our ship is on a Sunday morning, how many people are left on the beach?
Yeah.
And we need people to get in their own boats and go and be a part of that. I love the imagery of that in this movie. And man, I want you guys to take a part of that.
Yeah, we want it to be something that you take ownership of. This isn't just our job, it's all of our jobs. Yeah. And so, you're not too young. I think for me growing up, it was always, well, I'll just wait. I'll do that eventually. Yeah. I just don't know enough. I'm nervous. There's too much risk. There's too much to lose. And the issue is like, no, there's plenty of opportunities where you're interacting with people who are lost, and you're maybe the one person that God has placed there to be that message of light, that message of hope. And this is at your school or with your family or with, all your different sports that you're in, or, those different types of areas that you intersect with. Well, the battleship doesn't always intersect with all those different areas.
Totally.
You are the one that God has put into that area to do his work, not me and Mike.
Yeah.
And I think...
Who's better to reach the 14-year-old than a 14-year-old?
Exactly.
I mean, like sure, we can come in and do stuff, but God has filled you. And so, take a step back and realize that some of you have been saved. Mm-hmm. Like, you were lost and you've been found. You were dead and you are alive. You were a slave. You've been set free. You've been saved. And that wasn't you. And so, since you know that when you got saved, man, it wasn't the pastor on the stage that saved you. It wasn't whatever conversation. It wasn't VBS. That's not what saved you. God saved you. And so, knowing that should give you this encouragement that, man, God can save them too. And I just want to be a part of that process.
Exactly.
I'm totally okay being a part of that process. But we got to hit one more thing before we wrap this up. If the world did start blowing up, if we were involved in this kind of conflict, like in this movie or whatever, and everything was blowing up and there was the enemy actually pressing down, man, risk wouldn't be a factor. We would totally be willing to risk anything because we realize that this whole world is changing. Like, they're willing to risk their homes. There was that one point where the dad says, like, if I don't do this, there won't be a home to go back to. Yeah. So it's okay for me to risk my home in this. I feel like risk, it's too high of a cost. In this movie, they're willing to risk their boats, their stuff, their lives, their sons. And I feel like we're not willing to risk our video game shelf and our reputation. And I honestly think it goes back to the fact that we don't think we're at war.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so we don't want to depress you. We want to encourage you and help you to realize that it is absolutely worth the risk that you
Amen.
Take. It is absolutely worth you losing some of your reputation at school. It's absolutely worth you not getting to play that video game as much as you want. Put down Fortnite and engage in an actual battle that actually means something. Yeah. Instead of wasting your life. And now there's not anything inherently wrong with those things. Yeah. But you have to risk, and the reward is greatly.
Can you imagine, just imagine how awesome the conversation's going to be, 10 billion years from now with the person who goes, hey, thank you for risking for me. I'm here because God saved me, and he saved me through your words. Can you imagine that? Like, you can be a part of pulling people onto the boat, of getting people there, of going home. And one of my favorite parts of this movie was when the naval officer was looking out, and he was looking through the binoculars, and the guy goes, what do you see? And as the boats were coming forward, he says, I see home. Man, church, we should be the home for the lost. We should be that place where people see us coming and go, that's home. That's where I want to be. Like, they represent the land of the Father, and I want to go there.
We love you guys. We're praying for you. We're with you in this mission.
Heck yeah. All right.